call out the Morse mother, please? Allah the Father of the universe.
Allah the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My God. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Through Ali. Amen.
Amen.
Remain standing. Islam. First I can praise Allah,
First I give praise to Allah,
the great God of the universe.
the great God of the universe.
I give honor to his holy divine prophet,
I give honor to his holy divine prophet,
Noble Ali,
the
the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the forerunner to the prophet,
I give honor to the forerunners of the prophet,
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Brother Marcus Garvey.
I give honor to all true and divine prophets,
I give honor to all true and divine prophets,
Jesus, Muhammad,
Buddha,
Confucius,
Confucius,
etc.
etc.
I give honor to the pastor, Koran, granted by the moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to all pastors, recognized as moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Brother C. Kirkman Bay,
Brother C. Kirkman Bay,
Brother Nelson Bay,
Brother Nelson Bay,
and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
I give honor to the past, former Grand Sheik and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the past, former and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Brother Aldo Hill.
Brother Aldo Hill.
I give honor to the present Grand Sheik who is the moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the present Grand Sheik who is the moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Brother R. Jones Bay.
Brother R. Jones Bay.
I give honor to the Assistant Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the Assistant Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Brother A. Hoppin Bay.
Brother A. Hopkins Bay.
I give honor to the Grand National Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the Grand National Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Brother P. Chasey.
Brother P. Chasey.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the Grand Governor of Washington, D.C.
I give honor to the Grand Governor of Washington, D.C.
Brother H. Harris Bay.
Brother H. Harris Bay.
And to his assistant.
And to his assistant,
Brother T. Dozie Bay.
Brother T. Dozie Bay.
I give honor to all sheikhs and members of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to all chiefs and members of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the American
I
flag,
give honor to the American flag,
the Moorish flag,
the Moorish flag,
and to our charter.
and to our charter.
I give honor to everything that the prophet brought
I give honor to everything that the prophet brought
for the uplifting of all humanity.
for the uplifting of all humanity.
I give honor to man.
I give honor to man. Peace.
Salvation under our unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known for the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest. Because on a Friday, the first man is born in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh, and sent to his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced for all members of the Moorish Science of America. No member to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister or indicate that or that may harm his brother or sister. Allah love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being in Moorish America, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion, but to open up the laws and constitution of the state government, but to obey and abide. Act 6. First, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of the state government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which we live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained no draw leader prophet to redeem his people from the sinful ways. The Moors of America are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shore of the valley. Act 7. All members must properly attend their meetings and become a part, any partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish time to America. Members must pay the dues and keep an eye on all the necessities of the Moorish time to America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. Look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, being industrious. God is the kingdom of water. Yet you find covenant and from the holy prophet Noble Drali group, the guidance and Father God Allah. Noble Drali founder, Morse American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah, my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day. It was holy prophet Drali given. The Morse time to America, home office, P.O. Box 388, Greenbelt, Maryland, 20768. Thus I read from the Divine Constitution of Bible. Now I'd like to read from the questionnaire and additional law for the Moorish American by the Prophet of God. Act 1. Grand chiefs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said the temple must be approved by the Prophet of God. Before acting upon by any members, let it be financed property, or any non-like or cause member sacrifice, finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any form of office that violate these laws are subject to be removed from its office under heavy restrictions set by the Prophet or the Grand Chief. Act 2. All members are attending at our meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he'll be fined $1, which will be an emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for the much you see they do the more to live from. But to take finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty for every group member, if he is able to finance to aid and save the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people and justice must be kept you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I had the power vest in my hands, I would have to support the Lord in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, though we have to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school. And the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so. Because offering the Sunday school kind of guides of the nation. That's it. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folk, black people, or Ethiopians. So these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which we live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained no draw leader prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish America are the descendants of ancient Moabites, who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shore of Africa. Act 7. All members must properly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep alive all the necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, being industrious, and become part, live and follow humanity. All Morris America keep their hearts and minds pure with love, and their bodies clean before Him. This divine covenant is from the Holy Prophet, known our leading, through the guidance of this Father God. That's where I'm reading from the question and additional on all 7 times. Now I'd like to read from the Holy Koran of the Most High to God. I'm going to read a portion. I'd like to read chapter 48. The end of time fulfilling of the prophecy. The last prophet of these days is no Israeli, who was prepared to divine in due time by Allah, who redeemed them from the simple ways and the one with the great wrath, which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days, to warn and spare the nation, and prepare them to receive the divine creed, which was to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days, there came a forerunner. It was divine prepared by the great God Allah. His name is God, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name is Noble Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old time religion and everlasting gospel to the sons of men. That every nation shall must worship under their own bound victory and return to their own one with their Father God Allah. Peace. Islam, folks.
Islam.
I'd like to welcome you all to our Sunday school here in Washington, D.C. at Temple 7 Mile. Praise Allah for your attendance. Praise Allah for your presence. Praise for Allah for all the things that's forthcoming in this Sunday school. So we had everybody downstairs. Come on. Nancy. Everybody got a question there? Anybody need one? Okay, now like we want to conduct Sunday school, we need to grant something. My phone. Everybody check their phone. Okay, you got a question here? Who made you?
Allah.
Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where's his paper to me?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Ali?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
The prophet is Allah manifested in the flesh.
What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who was the founder of the Moorish Science of
No.
What year was the Moorish Science of founded?
1913.
Where?
New York, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Ali born?
He states in North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we are descendants of Allah and born in America.
I'm gonna start right here. I'm not even gonna go further. But I'm gonna ask a question. How do it feel to be a Moorish American? Everybody got to raise their hand at one time. But how do it feel when you say I'm a Moorish American, as opposed to feeling like something else? Opportunity?
Islam will praise to honor to the prophet of God. And what comes to me is feel proud to be a Moorish American. Prophet Noble John, they come let us know that we're not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. You let us know that we're a part of the human family, you know, and not slaves. So with that understanding, it makes me proud to know that I have a nationality. You know, I tell people sometimes, every people on the face of the earth has a nationality, except the so-called Negro, black, and colored. So when the prophet came teaching us that we're Moorish Americans, connecting us to the human family, you know, I'm proud to feel that I'm home and a part of the human family. Please.
Okay.
I feel like I'm linked to the nations of the world. It's not more. I feel that it's somewhat stressful, but you have to understand why it's stressful. Because you sitting in the center, it's like a positive thing, sitting in the center around negative things. So when you try to evaluate the situation, you got to understand that negative was here before you. You understand? You came into it, the negative part. So I would say it's somewhat stressful, but you deal with it.
Sister Ziegler,
It's not.
can you say that?
Yes, it's not. Well, for me, it's not. I say, well, for me, it's sort of, it's a different feeling in a good way. Because it has me to acknowledge things I used to do, I can't do it, but I don't do it. So that puts you, you know, like the brother said, brother Ishmael said, proud of what knowing to be emotional. Please.
Dixon,
Is what I'm saying.
no, you got that.
Is for me, you know, going back to what the prophet said he came to redeem us from our sinful ways. And when you are not proclaiming who you naturally are, you are naturally marvelous. So when you are not proclaiming that you are in a sinful state. So for me, it's a form of redemption. You know, I'm not fully redeemed, but by him coming showing us, you know, what our nationality is and teaching us our divine creed, this put us on the path of redemption. You know, so for me, it's like the pathway to righteousness. It's the pathway to truth. So that's what the prophet, you know, put in my head, you know what I'm saying, with proclaiming my nationalities, because now I'm returning to the state of mind of my forefathers. And that state of mind was the torchbearers of civilizations. And also, it tell you, I think it's chapter 45, and in the chapter that you was reading too, it's talk about how we was the first founders of the religious creed. We the founders of the holy city of Mecca. So these things right there, like the brother Shingleton was saying, it brings a form of grace, pride, and it also connects you back to who you were and the power that we had. We are now, the prophet had brought us back to us. Now we coming to redeem ourselves from our sinful ways.
You know, I was thinking about that because I think when I was coming up, it was always something about the words, you know, that never sit for me. So I thought I was going to different organizations, so to speak, right? The mosques, you know, our temple. Because I always knew it was something kind of stagnated about being black, Negro, even back in 70s and 60s, black, proud, you know, all that kind. I mean, it was good back then, probably, for that particular time, right? Because of the power, I think that our people were under. You know, we're trying to regain some stability, you know, for our people. So this had this loud, say it loud, you know, so you can hear it. you know, I'm black and I'm proud. Just to reiterate what these people saying that we're not. So we lost that. So we came up with that in that particular era. Even that, it was still something missing. You know, we would, you know, but go ahead, Sam. That's just my thought.
When you were talking about those words, it's something you didn't agree with. It didn't agree with you. The vibration was off.
Yeah.
And that's the same way I felt. I knew I wasn't black before I was introduced to the prophet, but I didn't know why we called it something. But I was thinking about what Dixon Neal said. How you pronounce your name? Dickinson Neal?
Yeah, Dickerson.
Okay. He said when we don't claim our nationality, and the thought in my mind was, some people don't know. We've been blessed that the prophet came and introduced us to these truths, you know. But there's so many people don't know, so they can't proclaim their nationality. And because, like what the instructor was saying, we've been brought up under these marks, Negro, black, colored. We accepted it. That's all we know. So when you tell them you're not black, you're Moorish American, it's hard to accept it because they, you know, we'd accepted these other teachings. You know, so I was just thinking about that when you say when they don't proclaim it. You know, a lot of them don't know, like the instructor was saying, he was looking. You know, so we have to be the imitators of the prophet, the example.
I ain't never think the secretary is supposed to say too much.
No, we did.
You know, you got all the records, right?
Islam. I just thought about something Brother Shingley said when he said we was blessed. And I want to throw that in, blessed and honored.
Right.
You know, everything everyone said, I agree with, even the stress, because the stress was trying to change your old ways into the new ways and recognize. So I agree with even Brother Jackson that. And I say honored and blessed because I'm honored that Allah chose me to recognize who I am, the true me, and chose me to teach me these lessons and chose me to be a part of this Moorish Science Temple of America. That is an honor and a blessing for all of us who are a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America and getting a part of these lessons and instilling them into our everyday lives, into our thoughts and actions and deeds and stuff. So I want to throw that in. It is an honor and a blessing to be a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America because of what Allah has chosen us and give us. Peace. Is that okay for the secretary?
Islam. Yeah, and you know, and that's actually what I was thinking about is distinguished and highly favored. You know, and that's what popped in my mind because that's literally how I feel at times. I feel favored in that regard, like the sister was saying that Allah chose us in this era of time. You know, because we were wandering around in the dark, not knowing what we was. You know, and so you know to be brought into the light of truth of what we are. You know, that is a blessing. So you know, peace.
It's not. Actually, back then, in the 70s, the 60s, there was an order of the day, black, I'm proud. So I was somewhat confused, but that was only because I was ignorant to the fact of the word black. And, you know, upon entering this organization, nationality, the function of nationality is like a tree without roots. So, you know, the problem exposed me to nationality, and I feel that I have an identity now through my nationality. Because black was no identity. negative or derogatory identity. And like I say, I was confused and ignorant to the fact. But now, nationality is going to be.
Oh, don't mix it in.
Islam. Concur with the brother saying, cause like you gotta think like first the prophet said, "My sheep know the sound of my voice, and the stranger will not follow." So it was like when you really kind of like understand like prolific things that the prophet said, it was ordained for us to come back into this fold anyway. You understand what I'm saying? It's not by chance or accident. And also, you know, during those times, like you can go all the way back to Marcus Garvey, when he used the word Negro. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't his business to bring us nationality. The prophet's business to do that. But his business was to instill a form of race pride through like having your own businesses and stuff like that. He was the forerunner for that. You know, so he used the word as a term because words have power. But it's how you define the word. We know that black according to science means death. But if you put a definition to a state of power, like the way Marcus Garvey was using it for that particular time and era, because that's what we used to calling ourselves. So he put a definition to it that made it, you know, significant for that time and era. Just like, you know, when you, like the brother said, James Brown was running around saying, "I'm black and I'm proud." So it instilled something to us because of the definition. But like the prophet said, this is a new era of time, man. You know, so in this new era of time, it's important for us to proclaim our nationality because it has a particular political power. You know, it's a whole lot of range of things when it comes to power that comes with it. And that's what we're in need of right now, that power that nationality has. And also, you know, like the prophet even say, now you put yourself what back into the constitutional fold of things. So that's something that we need here because we under the United States and we incorporated into this government, and that's the charter for this country. You know what I'm saying? So that put us back into that fold as well. So it's just like, you know, like prophet, he was like, when he came, he even said that a lot of us not going to understand. But the third and fourth generations is going to know good my words. So now we starting to use nationality in this early time, you know, and starting to learn that basically the power of it.
Islam more, brother Captain Starkgate for the record. I was just thinking, you know, the prophet said it is a sin. There is a great sin being committed. You know, and that great sin is that our people are still using those terms, Negro, black, color. And according to our Constitution, the prophet said it is a sin for any nation of people to violate the natural constitution of their free national government and claim to the names and principles that allude to slavery. You know, so I'm glad to be a Moorish American. I'm proud to be a Moorish American, knowing that I have a nationality because that's what gives me something to stand on. The prophet says, without your nationality, you are like a tree without roots. So, with our nationality, we have something to stand on. The prophet says, those who fail to proclaim their nationality, they are a slave in whatsoever land they find themselves. You know, so it makes me feel good, you know, knowing that I have something to stand on and I can trace myself back to my ancient forefathers, you know, the ancient Moabites, knowing that we could say that we are the founders of the first religious creed on earth. You know, it just makes me feel good to be a Moorish American. Peace.
Okay,
Is first of all, correct that statement he made. He said the prophet said that's not correct. What the prophet said is not the full correct statement. Well, everything that's being said made me think about the prophet when he said that he came and mended all the broken wires and connected us back. That was part of connecting us back to Allah, because the wires were broken. We was running around calling ourselves names that they used slavery, you know. But I think the statement is that the prophet said, if who failed to proclaim the nationality of the slave to sin, whichever state they find themselves in.
It's a lot more of it. Like Brother Shigel said earlier, it's the only thing that our people knew. And for those that's out there that's unconscious, that's the only thing they know. So they're going to still cling on to the word black. You know what I mean? Because it's our identity. And back then, when I was unconscious, I was proud to be black. But it's because I ain't know no better. And now that I'm conscious, like the brother said, it's a sin.
So, you know, I'm hearing all the answers, and it makes me think about what's the difference being a Morris American man than proclaiming back then with yourselves? I mean, how is you characterizing yourself without awarding yourself, without patting yourself on the back? What's the difference that you're doing now than you was back then? Being you proclaim the nationality today. That's what it is.
Praise our honor to the prophet. Back again, you'll go back to your root name, which go back to the word more. When you'll find out that you was a Moor. So once you find out that you're a Moor, you'll find out that you were blacker than what you was by coming here to the United States. So by coming here to the United States, you go back to another name saying that it's a nationality, by saying it's a Moorish word, saying that it does not, that it relate back to the word Moor, that it relate back to the word Moor, that it relate back to the word black. So that's why we call ourselves Moorish American. It's not.
Okay.
And according to your question, I think I would say the difference is that, you know, once we proclaim, we're learning how to practice, because it says proclaim and practice. So we are learning how to practice. Because when I first became a Muslim American, I wasn't practicing. I just called myself a obey or a heal. But now I'm learning how to practice to teach them.
So what constitutes the word practice? What's practice?
Teach.
To deeds.
Application.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing different now than you did back then?
It's not. It's not. Sister J. Shingle said earlier when she said being a Moorish American now lets her know she can't do the things she used to do. You know, and that's how it is. You know, like Brother Crawford stated earlier, you know, not even been that long ago, we was in ignorance. We didn't know no better. So we functioned with the understanding that we had at that time. You know, doing what we thought was okay. Then the prophet brought the truth and let us know what the truth is. And what we was doing wasn't right. And he said, turn from sin, I think it was, strive for purity. I can't recall the whole quote, but that's what we had to do. When we come into the Morris Temple of America, we turn away from that old life.
So what I'm doing now, I'm a child of Jews, child of Shingle about what in particular? One or two things. You can ask for her.
Jay Shingle?
About practice.
Practice what? In particular, some in particular.
Practice making your meetings on time.
Okay.
Being consistent. Very consistent. disciplining with you. Right.
Well, it's practicing, learning to love instead of hate. Because I didn't really know that love was the only savior in the world back then. And then I wasn't aware that love was in degrees neither. I was thinking about common love, surface love. So that's what I'm doing now that I wasn't doing back then. And I'm also learning how to not harm in word, act, and deed, my brother, man. Because I know what I do to my brother. I do to Allah. But when I do a harm to man, I do a harm to Allah. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm learning to do.
Yeah, concerning the two, first one was proclaiming. I push proclaiming to a brother because when you proclaim your nationality, you get your Quran, you get your question in, and the prophet do his work. You understand? You start thinking like him. You understand? That's the reason why. All you gotta do is come in here and proclaim. You proclaim, everything that's coming with it. It's coming with it, bro. And as far as he was saying, about the changing in changing the person once with nationality. What we talking about nationality, right? Okay, when you proclaim your nationality, bro, it's a package deal coming with it, bro. And the package deal is this here. And what it's doing is educating you. You understand? And how you show your action and your changing is in your action, words, and deeds. You understand?
Islam. It's reported that the prophet also said that he said, "Don't stop all the bad deeds at once. You might hurt some." And like the brother was saying, what's your name again, brother? Crawford. He was saying it comes in degrees. Application comes in degrees. Because nobody will proclaim their nationality. Next thing you know, the Negro problem and mental slavery just go end it one day. No, application comes in degrees. So the change that I saw a gradual change, like in my character, how I treated other people, the words that was coming out of my mouth. All these things started to gradually change. Because when I first proclaimed my nationality, I was in a degraded state. You know what I'm saying? And I was going around like everybody that looked like me was my enemy. If you posed it, you know what I'm saying? So in the state that I came into it in, I didn't realize all that until, when I got introduced to the prophet, he said that we are spirit and part of Allah. And if you, harm any other living creature, you do a wrong to Allah and to yourself. So these things that I had to learn, and that stuff came later on down the line, that all of us connected by spirit. And when I crushed beneath my foot, I shake the throne of Allah, called the sword like trimming the sheep. All these things you had to gradually learn. So now, now the state that I'm in now, I'm still learning. Like it's a lot of degrees to it. It's a lot of degrees to application. So, that's the change that I saw.
We got some little man. But this come in. The quote that you made, one word or two. So, we'll get to that later. Just a second. But I'm gonna call on you right now.
Islam. I'm listening to everyone's answer, and all of it leads back to one thing. Our first thing of change is the way we think, right? The way we think shows the actions of what we do afterwards. We know the thinking is the cause of it all. So how we think, how we conduct ourselves, we think about the consequences if we don't follow, the teachings of Allah and the Prophet and stuff. We know, we think, we create a condition for ourselves and stuff. So everything, all the answers that came about, it starts with our thinking. That was our first thing. And that was, I noticed, the common nation of everybody's answers. You know, you thought about what you're gonna do, what's the consequences and stuff, how you gonna go about, how you gonna love people, how you gonna speak to people, how you gonna treat people. It still comes down to our thinking.
So you would say that you look at your brothers and sisters a little different now, being that you declare your nationality and having the teachings along with practice. You look at your brothers and sisters a little different now. You see that Allah is in them, in opposed to just saying them,
Yes.
in their state. You know, you might see your brother or sister on the street asking for $1 or $2, but you don't know what the transition to like that happened. We're not looking like how much we're gonna give them. It's just the thought of it that they in need, right?
Yes.
You know, we can't just judge a person because of how they look or what they got on. Some people look at the clothing. If you see somebody in the street, right, they look at the clothes they got on. They got on a Jordan jacket, the Nike tennis shoes, with a sign. You think they all right because they got on the $200 shirt, tennis shoes. People get at the thrift stores now. You know, so, you know, somebody gave them because they got something, you know, bigger and better. So we can't just judge the book by the cover, so to speak. You know? Go ahead, stand up.
I'm saying if you ain't gonna do it from the heart, you shouldn't be doing it anyway, because it ain't gonna count for nothing.
So call this.
That could be, I think I often hear from another view, you should say, you could be encountered with an angel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, you gotta be careful how you treat people when you meet, when you see them.
Praise the Lord.
That's right.
Yeah. Very nice. Where's that start?
14.
14. What purpose was more science about Malcolm County? How did the prophet begin to uplift the most Americans?
I teach them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
Old time religion.
What kind of a flag is the Moors?
It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center.
Five. Right. Is that a new or the old time religion?
Old time religion.
What kind of a flag is the Moors?
It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Why? Who was Jesus?
He was the prophet of God.
Where was he born?
In Bethlehem, Judah, the house of David.
Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Will you give in brief the lines genealogy with Jesus came?
Some of the great fathers with Jesus came are Abraham, boys out of Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, Joseph, and Mary.
Why did Allah send Jesus to the earth?
The same Israelites were the iron and oppression of the Palestinian nation, the government forces God's sign at the same time.
How long has that been?
About 2,000 years ago,
What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabite.
What is the modern name for Moabite?
Morocco,
Where is the Moroccan Empire?
the northwest of Mexico,
What is the modern name for Mexico?
Africa,
What is the title given to the ruler in Morocco?
Sultan,
Where did we get the name Jesus?
from the east.
What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus means justice.
child that was called Jesus their holy name.
Yes, they did not be used by those who are slaves to sin.
What is an angel?
Angels, thought of God manifested in human flesh.
What are angels used for?
Manifested in four corners of the world to all nations.
I'm just thinking about something. Have you ever talked to anybody or heard anybody talk that you thought was a peculiar voice or peculiar speaker? You know how somebody talk to you and they say something to you and they give you something to think about, something that you probably never thought about, right? See, we never know who carried the message, right? That's why we have to treat our brothers and sisters with the utmost respect, regardless of what kind of state or what we think about. Yeah, the prophet said, if I can get you thinking, you can save yourself. So if you're open to people and they're thinking, then you might get something from that. Have anybody ever done that? Yes. Can I get an experience? Sister Debbie again?
It's this has been some years ago, back in the 90s, but actually it happened in Chicago. There's a museum in Chicago, Black African American Museum in Chicago. Anyway, at that time, it was Sister Papa, Sister Montgomery, myself, Sister R.J. Seal, Sister, there was one more sister with us, Sister P. Forstill. We went to the museum, you know, being curious and stuff to see what they offered. And there was a woman in there. She was familiar with the curator of the museum. She had to be probably in her 70s, early to middle 70s. And she had this long gray dreadlock hair. Dreads was not popular during that time. And she had this outfit on. And she was just walking quietly. We seen her. She disappeared. We was talking about painting. And she came back through and she pointed at us. And then she pointed at Sister Montgomery back and told her to come here. She whispered something in our ear. I'm not going to disclose what she said to me. Then she came to all of us. She said, y'all are blessed sisters, right? And you're going to be blessed for a very long time because God had you in his hands. Then she disappeared all of a sudden. And we all like froze for a minute. And the voice, and you know, you can hear the voice, but you didn't see the body. So we ran back and we told Brother Jones Bay, we told Brother Brother Lovell, because it was just a chill that she brought about to us, right? And I'm like, Brother Lovell said to us, he said, God sends his angels sometime in human form to speak to those that he showed particular favor to. And it was just a strange voice. It was a strange encounter with this sister. And then when we tried to find out who she was, the curator would say she's just a friend of ours that comes through now and then. But he wasn't sure of her name. How is you not sure of her name? If you know her, she's been through. So it was just a strange experience for us at that time. And we was in our Mecca at that time at the same time. Peace.
I'm gonna call this man. But what I want you to do is give me the short version.
You know, sometimes when we entertain people, you know, we might be entertaining the angel and don't even know it. You know, I heard Brother Love Bill tell me that before too. You know, so yeah. Sometimes we be talking to people and we don't even know we're talking to an angel.
Just be yourself, right? Regardless of who you think you talk to, just be yourself. Right? Because that's what that's all you got. It's yourself. Just be yourself. And then if you practicing, like Papa said, you practicing, then you shouldn't be having to worry about me practicing.
Yeah, that's
The right manner.
That's
You know. Oh, Jackie.
You know, the prophet says about do not don't speak radical against churches. Okay, so to bring that up, you know, I stepped into Christianity church for a reason. Maybe about almost a year ago. Not saying I was a member of the church, I just stepped into it, just to pick up the spirit, what's going on. I even got in the choir to pick up the spirit what's going on. And it seems to me, not saying that I'm a Christian, I'm not a Christian, I know who I am. But the bottom line, I went there for a reason. And I tried to introduce knowledge. I tried to introduce it. And that's where the brothers, that's where a lot sticking them brothers to be. You can go in there and talk all you want about nationality, profit, all that. But they won't come out of it because they're stuck where that's where a lot want them to be. That's why I was saying this spirit of knowledge and understanding can come in different ways. And it all boils down to profit. You know.
It's, I remember me as friends and us, we used to play on the block, right? And this old man, he used to come down the street, and we used to see him every day, and all he used to say was go home and get a glass of water and listen to the radio. So at that time, we probably, you know, he crazy old man, right? But as I got older and as I think, see, back then, there was no television, and they got their information off the radio, right? And then the radio ain't it's not much subliminal as TV is today. They glass of water, Father, I don't know, maybe. It's just thirsty. Water's good for the body. You know what I mean? So, peace.
Praise my honor to the prophet. The prophet said, I can tell you something that will turn your brain to water. So he was talking about trying to say that he can speak in the spirit. He said that I said this word in spirit. When he said that in spirit, he was talking about trying to uplift fallen humanity. So we was the people back then trying to explain that we are not Negro. So we're not Negro. He was trying to tell us something that was more than to our high self. Our high self, when we were saying that we're more American here in America. So when we're here in America, we're trying to say that we're adapting to these ways to say that we can uplift fallen humanity. Because these people can be out here saying that listen to the radio, listen to the radio, read the news, and make the European tell the truth. It's not.
Good. Go in the back.
Brother D. James here. Some of our best Moors are still in the church today. But I'm glad I'm in here.
And you know, while you're talking, I was thinking, why are we here? Why are we here? Today. Why are we here today?
See myself.
Why are we here today? Because it's a privilege. It's a what? Privilege.
This was
That's the law.
all the time. It was a thing that we did.
Could we,
We used to talk in the sacred
but couldn't we found something else to do today, like, you know, cut the grass, entertain guests at the home?
While we here today.
Yeah. On Sunday. What? My brother, go ahead.
Say, I can't have Sunday school come to guidance of the nation. You know, so Sunday school is an important meeting to go to, just like our Friday Holy. So we come here to uplift our spirit and gain knowledge and wisdom. You know, so.
Well, can't you read a book? Get some book, go to the library, you know.
You don't get to say it's a special spirit, like brothers been talking about, the spirit and the energy and the vibration and rhythm. You can't get that out there. You have to come in here to get it.
PJ said, Branch again.
Islam. Praise be God. As most Americans and members of the Moorish Science of America, in conjunction with those things that have already been stated while we're here, one of the things is that we being obedient to the laws of Almighty God and the laws of this organization and to it by the prophet. He says that we must attend our meetings properly. So that's the law. So that's one thing we're doing, and praise be God, we obeying that part. The other part is, as some said, whether it's today or the other day, it is ordained by Allah, because He's the one that allows us to be in this holy and divine movement, giving us the understanding that this is right. Now we have to go through the practice of these teachings in order for us to know it. And the blessing is that we are exercising our five senses, as someone indicated. That all from your Sunday school comes to guide the nation, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. So we're practicing these things right in this moment. There are a number of reasons why we're here right now. One also is helping us to learn how to unite. He said a member's interest is in one direction. So as members, we should be thinking along the same lines. That doesn't mean everyone is going to receive the revelations, receive the perception of what the prophet is teaching us all at the same time. But if our interest is in the same direction, we're all going to arrive there, because there is no failure for the human soul. Allah is leading on, the victory is assured. We're also letting our Father God, Allah, know that we are submitted. And this is another form of submission as we come into our holy place, say our prayer, connect with that spirit that the brother was talking about. And it is important that we worship in congregation. And it is more powerful than worshiping alone. So you want to worship in a congregation as often as possible. So it's a combination of a number of different things, and there are many more reasons that each one of us may have in our own individual way of looking at it, of why we're here, to improve our lives, to think, because we're thinking that our condition can be better. And what better place are you going to learn but by our holy prophet? Remember this part. We have instructors, Brian Sheikh, myself, our assistant, and any other minister that instructs. The prophet is our teacher. So he is the one that teaches us. And we're the ones that's supposed to convey those messages and show our actions and our love to his law. Show our actions of our life. So what we want to do is come in and be obedient, continue to strive, learn, so we can gain the strength we need to fight ourselves and to master this carnal world. Peace.
You're right. I could be doing something else today on Sunday, as you said, some other things, but I'm making my business to get to the folk on Sunday. And those other things, some of those things you make, I can do later. Or I can do before I come in. So see, every year, according to science, I plans my Sunday around my Sunday school. I know where I'm gonna be at majority of Sundays from 2 to 4. And I plan everything else before that happening. It's what?
No.
Praise God, I would do everything you said, like the instructor said, we're doing something else. And, I used to find other things to do, other than my come to my feet. And it was just something about, you know, bragging, man, I said, man, you're supposed to be it for me. He said, you're more than mine. You gotta be obedient, but you know, football season get ready. You know, you brothers, I know I was one, used to love football. But now, I look at football after Sunday school. That's one because I know with my salvation, my earthly and divine salvation that, you know, they can't get it on that football during the time that the lesson is going on. So I give my time to the problem regarding more science of America. I try to give my time to that, and I try to give my time to make God allow. You know, but I put that football on the side. I know I can watch that anytime. And then he get that recording on it, right? So, you know, I can come my meeting. But I got brothers that call you, you know what I mean? Make sure you at your meeting. And you go to your meeting, and what you gonna say? You gotta go. So it's the law. Peace.
You know, I just realized what changes I had to give up. Prophet came in with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in 1903. I mean, when the foundation was built. So, in 1913, right? But what I'm saying is, he made a statement that we should love and stuff, need to learn and stuff, learn to love and stuff. So, at this point, I'm thinking about the shackles, the chain around the neck, the killing, and all that we went through, all that they went through back in the day. He want us, the way it sounds, the way I got it, he want us to just get that and start with learn to love and study hate. So that's a big issue in my mind. And it just dawned on me about a week ago. And I brought this up in the last meeting. This is what he asked us to do. See, because for one thing, I had that burden on my shoulder for many years about what they did to us in the past. I had against the European nation behind this. This is what the problem just woke me up to let me know. Forget that. Let it go. This is where we started at. So I can't bring that in here. I can't bring that attitude in here. Because it's been cut. It's been cut, Mom.
That's right.
So if you're not ready to cut that out your mind about their people, because he brought them Europeans to us. There's a reason why they're here.
Right, use that action.
So I'm saying everything he probably brought, he brought everything to
Come on.
So I'm just saying that's how I feel about it. That's what more need to know. They need to know this.
Sing that, I sing your hand. Stand up. We don't get to hear you with that one.
It's not.
Yes,
I'm here with one other ones, but what I'm thinking about stating is that when you be consistent in your meetings, right? And then you miss one or two. And, well, for me, I feel unbalanced.
Right.
It's something always like, girl, you know you vote. you know.
Hey, you know,
Girl, you know where you supposed to be at, you know. With that being said, I'll be rascal.
My brother left. Up DJ different back. When the prophet said learn to love, understand and hate, was he talking about us learning to love each other, the ones who went through the slavery and who have got their nationality taken away from them and have that Willie Lynch syndrome in them and we killing each other? Or was he talking about loving everybody else at the same time, or just loving us first and then loving everybody else? It's not.
Stranger education. Folks.
Praise God, I was Prophet Moore. They talking here for the record. I just want to help the brother out a little bit as far as, probably a universal problem. You know, he meant to, I think he meant when he said love instead of hate, he meant to love everybody.
That's right.
Because, I mean, you have to be careful. Because we create, our own. You know what I'm saying? I know that I experienced something today. I was driving come to the temple. And I remember our leader was saying one time, the doors you open up as far as certain things, you gotta be careful things you create. Because brother put on me that and said, brother, you gotta use your signal, right? I'm trying to do the temple. So the brother said, you gotta use your signal. I mean, one time I pull up, I didn't, say things to him. I just got on, man. Oh man, chauffeur. Yeah,
Islam. I want to say, my spirit, I'm like sister, right? If I don't shut my knees, I feel funny. And my spirit like say, you gotta be there. And if for some reason I can't be there, whatever I can to get the meeting, I'm on it and stuff. But what's even funnier after all these years, if I don't go to my meeting, something, one of my children having to call, why ain't you supposed to be at the temple? Yeah, well, why you ain't there? They done became my conscience now, like, you ain't supposed to be home, you supposed to be at the temple, why you ain't there? It's something that I've been doing for years, and my family is aware of it. They know not to try to do anything at the time I'm supposed to be here, and then they want to know why I'm not here. And then threaten to call certain people on me if I'm not here. So it's just something that's instilled in me, and I know that's part of my salvation. It's not that I learned something 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's something I still got to learn today and in the future. Peace.
Islam. Thank you. So, praise Allah, honor to Prophet, honor to everything that was given honor to and open to me. I was thinking about what the brother was asking, and the first thought that came to my mind was, because I wrestled with that in the beginning too, with are we supposed to love everybody and love even those who harm? But then the prophet gave us instructions about that, and so that helped me to kind of see a little bit better with that. And it's about serving those who seek to do you harm, strangers at the gate, those different things like that. And then the other thing that stood out to me was it says love is the only savior of the world. So, if you look at love as something that's passive, then you might not think that that's good enough. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you want to get back at somebody. You think that's more powerful. And it reminds me when the prophet said, or reported, he said too, that when we get back on top, treat them nice. You know what I'm saying? So I just those are the thoughts that came to my mind. Peace.
Brother Dixon,
Islam. When you think about learning to love instead of hate, it sounds easy. That's a hard task, you know, because you know it says that it's that Act 3 when it says Allah is love, and we are spirit and a part of Allah. So we gotta learn how to love just like Allah loves. And Allah loves even his enemies because he wakes them up every day to get a chance to get it right. So you know, we instructed, like the brother McGee Bay said, we don't supposed to hate anybody because you gotta really think, what is love and what is hate?
That's right.
You know, if I'm hating, that means I'm in my lower self.
That's right.
So the prophet instructed me not to even be in my lower self. You know, and then how can I point the finger at him when I'm doing the same thing he do to me?
That's right. Yeah.
I'm no better than that individual if they hate us because of our skin complexion or whatever the case may be. I'm just like him. So when the prophet said you gotta learn to love instead of hate, man, you know, you gotta really look at that thing from a way broader perspective, man.
Right.
And that's the reason why we come, because we coming here to learn.
That's right.
I'm coming here to learn that I'm a spirit. You know, I'm not the body nor the soul.
That's right.
So if I'm not the body nor the soul, and I'm a spirit and a part of the law, it's like an obligation to come here.
That's right.
Because the prophet say this is not a social organization. This is a divine and national movement. So we coming here to really reconnect back with our Father God and law. This ain't no nothing to play with.
Yeah.
Brother P says here, man.
Praise God, and it's good to hear, you know, some of the thoughts that people are sharing. What it's showing us is that we're transitioning. And when the sisters talked about not feeling a little off or out of place when they got at their meetings, that means that this means something to you. See, we're starting to come into our own and we're starting to unfold. When the brothers talking about love, well, remember the lesson is the pure heart will love and not the man love.
That's right. Yes. Come on.
When you start to turn from sin and strive for purity in life, those things, and then the other part of it is, you know, he said every nation is self-persuaded. And we can't look at one segment of people because when we study our history and we learn, we enslaved people too. When we come to different areas, different lands that we ruled for hundreds of years, we made them yield to our ways. So we gotta remember the whole picture. But that was then. Remember what one of the poster prophets said in this regard. He said, we once ruled the world. We're ready to go back and do it again. But this time, we're going to do it in the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. See, every time we rule somewhere, we weren't applying the principles. So we got to remember all of it. So what he's helping us to do is to transition from one thought to a higher thought. And the higher thought is, this is our home, this is our place of refuge, this is where we belong. In the more Science Temple of America, learning to love instead of hate. And the more we practice it, the more we gain strength over self. Because now we're starting to turn from sin and strive for purity in life. And purity paves the way for love. We gotta get some of those things out of us. And Brother Jackson said it right. You gotta let that go. And that's everything about carnal men. Because they're only playing a role in your life. We're spirit. We're trying to return to our Father God Allah, and the only way you're going to return is as the prophet said. We got to purify ourselves. We got to stay with Allah and the prophet and do the things that have been instructed for us to do so that we can be safe. So I could commend you all for all the thoughts, but you sure feel out of place when you're not in here. Especially when the time that you're supposed to be in. Now, we know life gives us different things that take place. But even with that, you still should feel something. I can't make it to the temple, but I'm pray with the morals anyway. I can't make it to my meeting, but maybe I can get on the video and watch it. So you try to keep your connection, no matter what, because this is spirit. Even if you physically can't be here. Right now, we may have some unmanifested souls sitting right on these pews.
That's right, that's right.
Because they want to be in their meeting. Because the prophet can cross the borderland as well. We got to remember all of it. When we in here, we should be feeling the way we do about the temple, because this is our sacred school. We want to raise it up and always know that we should be anywhere where the prophet is. He said, when three or more gather in my name, something to that effect. Don't quote me verbatim. I'll be there. The spirit, the prophet spirit is here with us. And of course, we know our spirit is with us because it's in us. We want to stay in obedience and in connection with our Father, our peace.
Peace.
Could it be that that's the reason why those not blood mixed people, because no one wants to give up that past, that history? This is what he had us to do.
You keep the doors open.
Yeah, I know.
I
I know.
There's not no one person. You can't drive the whole Jordan Avenue, man. You can't drive the whole H Street. Prophet gonna keep the doors open. He gonna drive.
Just real fast to that point. It's not everybody's time.
That's right.
It's not everybody's time. He said he wasn't going to wake up all these days. So it's not everybody's time being here. The key is for us who are here to learn as much as we can, practice as hard as we can, be prepared, because when those floodgates do open, they're going to look to you to see if you know what you've been doing. So he don't job, man. He said he was, and he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just a thought. You know, while we're in here, we know that, you know, our families, you know, the brothers, sisters, why you not in the temple if you don't come? So I think sometimes by them knowing that you go to the temple, they depending on you to hold them not accountable for the nourishment that you might give them. You know? So suppose you stop coming to the temple. That's a woe on them. Like, why you not, you know, you upsets them. Whether you know it or not. Yeah, why you not, so your effect of being in the temple and them not being in the temple affects them. Whether you know it or not. Because you're supposed to be a certain place and they know you're supposed to be a certain place. And you ain't there, then some kind of anxiety comes over them. Because you ain't making your meeting. If you ain't making your meeting, then what am I going to do? Like, they made the meeting. You know? I'm not sure, I'm not the only one that's burning that. You know? And I'm a member. I am a member. And sometimes, you know, it's good to be in a temple amongst the Moors because sometimes I think I'll be on the journey alone. You know? Of trying to uplift all humanity, trying to learn love instead of hate. You know, after all these years out doing that, and then coming here trying to do this, it's a job. You know, you think you're doing this by yourself, like, what is up, keep trying? And I told somebody the other day, I said, I'm trying to be saved. They look at me like I was, you know, like I was talking some kind of language. You? Really? That's why I come to my meetings. And I'm trying to be saved. Like, I'm not supposed to, you know. But that's the kind of life that the people have. But look, you know, they look at us. Now we're talking about family, you know. You're not in your meeting, but you're not in your meeting.
That's right.
You know, like you did something to them.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
Yes.
You're right. You're right.
Here's one thing on that note. You remember what in one of the whole posts the prophet said this? He said, you do good if you get one in the family. So we gotta remember all these things. And this right ground right here, it may not be for everybody to be in here. All I know is what we know not. He's letting the prophet inform us. He said, oh, everybody's not gonna be saved. Everybody's not going to be saved. So you got to look at it from the perspective that you're blessed to have the opportunity to try to be saved.
Yeah. Just don't feel like that. That's all right. To add to what you were saying about Smith, your loved ones, they notice a change in you. They notice the temple and made a transition with you. You know what I mean? That's why they concern or they may address you, you know, when you don't go. Because they didn't see it work in your life. You don't do the things you used to do or say the things you used to say, and they more likely is relating to temple when you go on, you in the movement with that change in your life.
Yeah, and it's a reflection. That's not you out. Towards them.
It's a reflection.
You know, you draws them. Reflection draws them. Singer, just sing it.
I'm using my mom and my family, my sister. When I miss my meeting on Friday, they call my mom, I'm called Grand Sheep. Be pregnant me all the time. I just want to throw that out there. But I'm still wrestling moves. I'm still wrestling.
That's right.
Hold it around more
We actually finished chapter 11, I mean, 13 last week.
13?
Yeah, we finished it. We finished it last week, so we're supposed to start in 14.
Chapter 14.
Page 22.
Page 22. The ministry of Jesus, the ministry of John the Harbinger. John the Harbinger returned to Hebron, lived at Hebron in the wild, visited Jerusalem to speak to the people. Man, just reading reading the chapter without even going into it. What do you think? How you think? What happened?
You got to cook it.
Brother Kubir.
Praise the Lord, honor to the prophet. Brother Jesus went to the wild, I believe so, and I believe he lived there as a current. That means a person that lived in the wild, the wilderness.
You mean Brother John?
John the Baptist. He lived in the wilderness, within the wilderness, and can eat insects, flowers, and, you know what I'm saying, and lived in that type of way to say that he can live off the land. You know what I'm saying? So if he can live off the land, that means he having this free nationality. You know what I'm saying? By living as a current in the wilderness. So this brother they had, you know what I'm saying, in chapter 12 said that he went before the times of his mother and his sister. His mother and his sister did before them. So he was taught by the stages of saying that they wanted him to live there, but he had his brother John the Baptist live there. So at that time they lived there, and so he had to live there so many years. I mean, it was like so many times where it said that he conquered those fears and became like a king. It's long.
Okay. The reason why I asked the question is because sometimes we're gonna always be without the book, right?
And somebody might call you and ask you about chapter 14 and just give you the verse, I mean, the whole chapter. I mean, not the chapter, the same. And they might just ask you without even looking at it. Okay, we're reading it today, but what about without the book? It's like I asked, what you think this might entail? You know? Now I know John, he was nomadic, living off the land. I know he ate, certain things. But the other thing that you might have said, I don't know about that. But we eat a lot of things today that we didn't think that we wouldn't eat back then. But they probably been eating it back then. I'm gonna call it. Let me get the bell man.
Yes, one of the key things is to aid and assist our brother, because it is important that we say what the prophet says. And we can certainly appreciate Brother Kubriel's approach to describing some of the things John had to go through. That's why we have the religion. To your point, we have to make sure that we can retain as much as we can so that we convey the message clearly enough. So sometimes when we're in these sessions, which are public sessions, we want to make sure we say what the prophet said. The truth. And the purpose of John doing what he did, we got to make sure we are recalling that. Remember, he was spiritually made flesh. So it was described that he was living in the wild and he ate herbs, nuts, fruit, and honey.
Yes, Lord.
Keep those thoughts in mind. I'm correcting this stuff of these things for a purpose. Because this is spirit. We got to stay with what the prophet said. And not only that, again I say to you all, John was purity made flesh. And if we look at the life of John right now, you all know we're supposed to be doing what he did. And we haven't transitioned to that part in our development yet. Because we are still eating flesh. Some of us. Let me be clear, some of us. So in that's part of the transition to get to the point of purification. And as we connect the lessons, we'll learn that he says that man utters shamelessness, he strikes down the beast. There's a part of this whole thing that he's trying to show us. That's important for us to be able to learn the lessons about John's life as well as Jesus, because John put us in a certain state of mind for us to be able to transition to where Jesus is at, who was love made manifest. But we got to start with purity. So John's life is important to us. We must learn what his ministry and what his whole doctrine and things that he was going through were about. When he was talking about, he spent many years, he was in the Egyptian school for 18 years. And remember, he became a mastermind. He didn't go in there one. He became a mastermind. So we got to take all these things into account because we're supposed to be similar to him. We're in our sacred school. And this is where we'll learn to master self.
You said we read the title. What do we get from reading the title, right? So for me, it would be the first part of the saying live as a hermit in the wild. So to me, he was living in the wilds as far as trying to get peace within, be still and hear with instructions tell, the next part it says, visit Jerusalem and speak to the people. Maybe you had to tell the people what he experienced during that time.
What time is it, partners?
Yes.
Again, I'd like to thank you all, and I praise Allah for the opportunity. We got a law. I praise Allah, thank you for the opportunity. Praise Allah and honor the Prophet of God. To instruct Sunday school today. I got a lot out of it myself. Really,
You did a good job.
I was asking questions for myself. I need some answers. I really did. Sometimes we come in Sunday school, and like a question that I asked, like, we could be doing some other things today. We have some things that we plan on after Sunday school that we're going to do.
That's right.
But after you come to Sunday school, your whole depends on how you feel, what kind of spirit you have. That might not take place. You might be doing something else because the spirit, whether it's high or whether it's still low, or it's still holy. So it depends on how you feel. I get spirit. I pray a lot that everybody's spirit is.
That's what
So with that, I'm going to call forth the Grand Chief, who is that's the Grand Chief of the Moore Township of PCC. I mean, the national chairman of the Moore Township of PCC to read the warning and give them the advice.
Islam? Islam. To give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, honor to the holy prophet, Noble honor to all the things that Chairman gave honor to the opening of the meeting, honor to each and every one of you. Praise be God. You just happen to be here. Praise be God. January 15, 1929, Prophet warned all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans and cause confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We offer love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true members will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, but cease wearing their clothes or flares and return to the state by the prophet's bounty. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Dwelling. If the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Muslim Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins for order of prophet Noble Dwelling. Peace.
Peace.
Father, universe. Father, love.
Father, love.
Truth.